honestly, I see the transformation in like social media. I remember my first MySpace account. I still have the profile picture somewhere. It was about like, yo, this is just kind of like who I am. This is my vibe. Like I got a song on my page. Mm-hmm. You kind of just have your friends on there. It wasn't as much a highlight reel.
Right.
It was meant to just be more raw and honest. Even early Instagram, for the most part, you just saw people you followed. So it wasn't like there was no explore page. There was no hashtagging. The hashtags were terrible back then, first of all. It was kind of, but the hashtags were silly. Like, it wasn't like hashtag for you page, hashtag.
Oh, right.
Black men in fashion, hashtag. I make.
They weren't functional. They were like inside jokes.
Yeah, and like descriptors maybe like hashtag like school, hashtag.
Right.
It wasn't a flex. It was really just to relate. And so honestly, you could see your friends not just when you we're in the same space as them.
Yeah.
And now it's just like supposed to be this kind of highlight reel that's over the top and overdone, and honestly there's a lot of catfishing going on these apps.
That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like and I don't just mean like aesthetically you don't look like that, but your life is not like that.
Yeah.
So what is this facade? What is this thing that you got going on for the internet?
Well, I mean, because I think about with MySpace, when I think about MySpace at its core, your profiles were thoughtful. You have some photos, but you also had like a reel about me, and you had some words attached to it, And then I guess after MySpace was Twitter, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And Twitter broke it down to 140 characters, so you had to like really kind of make it concise. And then Instagram comes in, and it's like not even really about words. It's
not at all.
Some photos.
Yeah.
And
which I kind of like, and Tumblr somewhere in there too.
Oh,
where Tumblr was, honestly, it was kind of like Pinterest.
It was a mood board.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, no, for sure, it was a mood board.
It's like a mood board, X emotions. Like,
this is my vibe.
Yeah,
and it's interesting because you think about where Tumblr started, and then I know when I fell off, it just kind of basically, I feel like Tumblr was the intro to OnlyFans.
It was.
Because it was like, wait, what? Like, Tumblr got real porny out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, I'm done with Tumblr.
Honestly, Twitter too, but yeah, Tumblr definitely started to veer that direction.
Yeah. Well, I feel like with Twitter, you kind of like, I feel like you had to go out of your way for Twitter to find like the dark web of Twitter.
Yeah,
where,
the dark
Tumblr
side
just hits you. Like, I didn't know this isn't part of my algorithm. Why?
I think their angle was like sensual or like
right.
It wasn't as like. You're right. Twitter's more demonic to be in theme of how you started it.
Yeah.
Where it's meant to be just kind of not dirty in the sense of, I don't know. Tumblr was kind of passing it off as like art or like high brand photography. Yeah. And it's really just some titties. But
that was it.
But yeah, that's I agree.
Yeah. And that's interesting because you mentioned art, and we're in this weird space where we're trying to like repackage art, but it's really just commerce.
Man.
There's no art. It's just commerce. Yeah. And in the feed, like, a lot lately, what's up with these 2-minute songs, dude?
Attention spans, man.
That's crazy.
Attention spans. Like people, I don't want to say people, the average consumer doesn't pay attention to music the same way because they don't have to. Like for $10 a month, they get access to every song ever. So they don't actually care. They don't have to go out of their way. You're not waiting in line. You're not buying CDs. So the way you think about music, the average person has changed so much. It's just like, oh yeah, whatever. Like they're not actually really locking in unless they absolutely adore that artist and they're willing to spend, what's now $600, $1,000 to go see them. So it's just, if you're trying to get the average fan, a lot of songs, especially in hip hop, just microwave.
I mean, obviously hip hop had shorter songs always. Shorter albums, not counting, but you had more songs. But I'm seeing pop music too. Everyone And contemporary music is giving you that 2:15, 2:30, 3 max. Like, 3-minute songs like a magnum opus. Like, I have a lot to say here. Like, and I don't, like, everything. Like, 4 minutes was a short song growing up. You know, and then when you really, like, I got a lot to say, you got that 7-minute, that 8-minute, like, wow. But everything, I was looking at stuff that dropped today, 2:15, 2:30.
They want the replay. And so it's like, if the song, you want it to be longer, but it's not, your only option is to play it again.
Yeah, but that's...
Now we're talking about 8 cents. Like, now
But
you're
you
getting
just
rich.
do that regardless. You know, there are a bunch of songs, and what's funny is you had the radio edit for me growing
that's
up.
true. That's true.
But there is no real radio now, so you don't need a radio edit. A song could be 4 minutes, 5 minutes if you really had something to say. But I feel like now that it's kind of like a cop-out.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have, I mean...
It's hard, though, because today's game is a volume game.
Yeah.
And if you're an up-and-coming artist...
That's commerce.
Yeah, exactly. You have to flood the market, they say. And so, I mean, I guess hip-hop was always kind of like this in the sense of, if you're up-and-coming, you got to drop mixtape after mixtape before you get to that album level.
Right.
Where, you know, you have enough, you've proved that there's enough people who care about you that you can sell an album, so now a label wants to sign you and really blow it up. But just in terms of all music now, you got to keep releasing music to keep people's attention. And it's hard to drop 4 albums in a year and as an artist who's actually making good art, have something different to say for each song on every album. Like, people just running out of shit to say. I'm gonna say the same thing again, just slightly different.
But you're right. You're gonna run out of something to say if you don't know how to feed your art form.
It's true.
You know, if you're not living life, whatever that means, you're gonna run out of things to say. But if it's your art form, do you really run out of things to say?
But again, commerce, for some people, it's just a job. It's not about the art anymore.
Yeah, and it feels like that.
Yeah.
It feels, you listen to stuff, whether it's music, whether it's clothing, it looks like a 9 to 5.
It's packaged like one.
Yeah.
It feels like one. It looks like one. Yeah.
And that can't sustain life.
No. Absolutely.
And you feel it. Like, folks aren't jazzed.
But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know, being Vanilla Ice used to be an insult, for example. Now, so many people don't really care how or why. If they get even one viral moment, let alone a viral song, they're happy with it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, a lot of these people aren't looking for career trajectories. They want to get their art out. They want a chance to have a moment and feel like someone, and they'll figure the rest out later. Like, it's times have changed, honestly.
They have.
I feel partially responsible. I've always said I think everyone can make music. I think everyone.
You're still holding on to that?
Part of that is, you know, I have a course, so I'm like, everyone can rap. And I do believe it. Doesn't mean everyone should release rap music, no. But I do believe everyone should express themselves through art. I just don't necessarily think everyone needs to try to sell it. I think that's the difference. And everyone is trying to sell it right now.
Yeah. But then it's like, if you can't, because I consider myself an artist, and I think there's a purity in that. But I also think that there's nothing wrong with selling your art, you know, which is different than commerce. I think that, like, if you're able to create and if you're able to be an artist, I think there's nothing better than being able to sustain your life through your art.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, if you can't sustain your life through your art, and this has nothing to do with that, like how much you make, this just means your level of creativity, then I think that you shouldn't do it at all.
Really? Not even as like a hobby?
Yeah, but that's like, you know, at home. like rapping.
No, and that's kind of what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I think we should all express ourselves some way. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it in a public-facing way.
Right.
Yeah, so I definitely think we agree on that.
Sing in the shower, rap in the shower, rap while you
don't send me your song. Don't do that.
Don't put it out.
No, yeah.
Don't put it out, you know? Because that's the other thing. You have people, and you can tell they're just throwing it on social media, hoping folks hype them up and gas them up. Oh, you like this? Great. Here's more.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't do that. You know? I mean, like, it's the big Dave Chappelle joke with, like, Juicy Smollier.
I just saw that clip earlier today.
Like, clearly we knew you were lying.
We knew. They're like, black people said that they were trying to call us homophobic. And it's like, no, every black person knew he was lying. Like, you left at 4 a.m. Okay,
right.
It's 16 degrees.
With the Subway, right?
Walking for a Subway sandwich. We don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so that's when you withhold the likes.
Mm-hmm.
Say, oh, you didn't like that? No, because it's not good.
Yeah.
Like, don't gas anyone up. Don't give them a pity like. Don't pretend, because all that does is snowball. And that's kind of why we have this today. Why we have certain artists, especially those Disney artists that have been in the machine for so long that they're able to release music, but they shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, and it's and we all know who we're talking about. There are a handful of them. You know, like, no, you shouldn't be doing that.
But honestly, in those situations, it's the machine behind them that's saying, look, statistically, you have this many eyes. If we get you with this songwriter and the song is at least decent, we can make this much. And that's the commerce side like you're talking about, where it's like, music is unfortunately a play right now. And, you know, I really do hate that as just someone who loves music. I really hate the average quality that's coming out right now. But it's, you know, it's just it's the human nature, really, where music is super popular. People have seen enough examples of subpar talent getting rich from it that now everyone just kind of sees it as a lick.